ATR.
You, Rodriguez was supposed to throw off the mound the other day, and I don't think we ever got a report on that. How is he doing?
He's actually progressing pretty well. He's actually got a bullpen today. His last bullpen was, I think, much better than we anticipated. He felt good coming out of it. Ball was coming out good. He felt, he was throwing a lot harder than he anticipated. So it's all, positive, I guess, kind of moving forward. We weren't sure how he was going to come out of that one. So today I think he might throw some more pitches, maybe some sliders and some changeups, but hopefully it comes out well, and hopefully we're ahead of schedule, but we'll see today.
So the last bullpen was all fastballs?
Yeah. But he let it go pretty well. I mean, he said he got on it pretty good, and he felt fine coming out of it.
So what about Rafael Montero? Where does he stand, please?
Kind of similar. I think, he may not be as far ahead, I guess. He felt okay his last bullpen. Didn't really step on the gas at all. So we're kind of maybe playing it slow with Monty a little bit. We want to make sure he's healthy. I'm not sure when he's throwing a bullpen. He's in a day or two, but hopefully he's on some medication, and hopefully it starts to feel better.
We were under the impression that it was late because of his family, his wife had a baby. Did he have a physical issue?
No, it was definitely family related. I think it was just the time off. There was a lot of things going on and travel, and I don't think he was able to throw as much as he'd like. Obviously he had to take care of what he had to take care of, and when he got back, it didn't feel right. The first day.
He just didn't feel well.
Yeah, in his arm, he's got a little. It's on the outside of his, forearm. He's just kind of getting through it now. He said he feels better now, so hopefully from this point on, he can progress to getting back to full strength.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Other questions, please. Evan?
Woody, I'm kind of remiss of not asking you last night about Jim Burgett. What has he shown you in this camp, and how much of a decision has he created here?
He's putting a lot of pressure on us, that's for sure. I liked him, the first time around. When we got shut down, he was one of the guys that kind of was a real bright spot. I wasn't sure what to expect, when we brought him into camp. I knew he threw from all different arm angles, but getting to know the kid a little bit, he's pretty fearless on the mound. He doesn't really get bothered by too much out there. You can see how confident he is. He kind of carries himself well, and I didn't realize he had kind of a repertoire that he has. He's pitched really well. So regardless of whether we keep him or not, I think if he doesn't make our team, he's going to pitch with us at some point. But he's putting a lot of pressure on forcing us to keep him.
He seems like the one guy who, the fact that he doesn't have a minor league out might actually work against him in this situation.
Yeah, it sucks, to think about that, but it is true. There's so many different, scenarios in this, the way things are structured right now, with outs, and, without him having that, it does go against him. But like I said, he's kind of forcing our hand, and regardless of whether he makes our team, he's made a pretty good impression on all of us, including myself. I trust him out there. I actually trust him against lefties, the way he's kind of pitched against some of our tough lefties. He's done a really nice job.
You don't have any Woody bombs this afternoon?
No 2-0 hanging sliders, man, not yet. Actually, I do. I got. We told Volquez yesterday that he is going to make our team. So I was happy. I was excited for him. He's done a really good job, and his arms. Obviously the ball's coming out of his hand. There's so many things about Volky that we love, but first and foremost, the stuff is there. I wasn't going to keep him unless he showed he can get people out, and for me, it's kind of a big one to get lefties out, because of that changeup. And he's always had, pretty good success, especially tough lefties. With our lefty situation, there are some guys kind of, making a name, making a case. But, just the fact that he's been pitching a long time, he's pitched in big games. The leadership aspect in the clubhouse is second to none. So we're excited to have him.
Other questions, please? Sam?
Hey, I'm curious, when you're kind of putting together like a 30-man roster, knowing that in a couple weeks you have to cut it down, do you kind of plan on where you're going to be cutting from at this point, or not necessarily who, but kind of like where on the roster you might, like whether it's reliever or bench guy? Do you kind of think that far in advance?
Yeah, I think we think all the way through, September, really. I mean, you have to kind of keep in mind, from a roster standpoint, non-roster guys you're adding, if you're cutting into your 40-man, and then, a 28-man roster is a lot different than a 30-man roster. Do we keep 15, 15 each the first time around, and then, where do we go from there when we get to 28? So it's there's a lot of obviously strategy and thought that goes into it. So it's something that's on our mind for sure, and especially we got 3 guys, right now that probably won't make that won't be on. They'll be on the DL to start out of our bullpen. We're gonna have to replace those guys as well. Somebody's gonna have to go, so we potentially could lose five relievers or at least 4 come August 6th. So that's something that we think about for sure.
Other questions? Alex?
Yesterday we talked about as far as the health protocols, and early on, guys are so receptive to it because they didn't understand what's going on. Now you're a couple weeks into camp, guys' minds are thinking about the day, trying to make the club. Are you noticing, are they still very receptive, or are there a little bit more reminders that have to be thrown to them every once in a while? They go back to old habits.
Yeah, that's something I worry about a lot. You see the numbers in baseball are good right now, but like we talked about yesterday, that could change. If we just stop being vigilant. I think we have enough leadership, from our staff and from our players that are there's a lot of reminders every day. I see a guy that maybe has his mask down or something, out there or in the clubhouse. Hey man, put your mask on. I trust the leadership in the building to keep it that way. And I feel like we're spaced out enough right now. I think the real challenge when we start the season is when we don't have the visiting clubhouse to space out. I don't really want to put guys in auxiliary clubhouse, that are on our roster. So it's going to be probably the start to season a little bit more difficult, but we just got to make sure our guys stay on top of it and our leadership kind of takes control and, makes guys stick to the protocols.
Other questions? TR?
Chris, by my count, you have 6 guys who have been told that are in your bullpen right now. Jose Leclerc, Nick Goody, Jesse Chavez, Luke Farrell, Hernandez, and now Volquez. Is that correct? I mean, you haven't said Chavez or Leclerc, but I'm
No, they're on. Yeah, they're on. Yeah.
So right now you have set 6 spots in your bullpen.
Yes.
Okay, and somehow you got to get some left-handers in there at some point, do you not?
Yeah, we'll definitely have at least one. There's potential to have 2, based on the way some guys are throwing right now. So the real question is whether we have 9 or 10. It depends on what we do with our starters. If we, with the off days, if we kind of manipulate the starting rotation at all, it would allow maybe potentially to have another reliever in the bullpen. Or if we just go straight 5, do we want to have 10 relievers or 9 relievers? It's all things we're considering.
Well, Lyles could pitch out of the bullpen, could he not?
He could.
3 days.
Yeah, and we're still discussing like internally what makes the most sense for us. He threw the ball obviously really well yesterday, so there's a lot of thought going into all that.